Hello student, welcome to class 7th, subject mathematics. So today in mathematics we will study geometrical construction. Before starting the lesson, student, let us recall what concept you have studied in your previous class. So you have studied in your previous class line, line segment, angle, angle bisector, etc. So here today again we will revise how to bisect the given angle. So let's start without wasting time. First of all, we will draw a ray. Give the name to that ray, ray BC. As we know that for labeling the ray, we require two letters, as you have studied this concept in standard 6. After drawing the ray, take the protractor, keep the center point of the protractor on point B and draw acute angle. Acute angle means whose measurement is below 90 degree. So here I am taking the 60 degree of angle, put the point, then raise the ray which will pass from point B. Label it as point A. After that, take the compass, put the compass one end on point B and draw arc which will cut both the ray at two different points. Now, after drawing the arc, label them point P, point Q. Okay? Then after, just expand a little bit distance approximately in your compass and put the one end of the compass on point B and draw one arc inside the interior of the given angle. After drawing that arc, now without changing the distance of your compass, it means keep the same distance and put the point of your compass on point Q, then draw another arc which will cut the previous arc in this way, so that we will get one intersection point. After that, student, draw a ray which will pass from point B and the intersection of the point, so that now label that point as M. So student, in this way we can draw angle bisector of a given angle. Okay student, I hope so you understood this construction. Now you can draw acute angle, right angle or obtuse angle and draw angle bisector of that given angle. Okay student, now we will draw another construction. So student, now we will draw here one more construction, that is perpendicular bisector of a line segment. For constructing this construction, we need to draw here one segment. You can take the measurement of any length. Here I have taken 7 centimeter. You can see. Label it by giving two alphabets P, Q. 7 centimeter. Okay. Now, after drawing the segment, take the compass. In your compass, take the distance more than half of the given segment, like this. After taking the distance, student, you have to draw two arcs on the either side of the given segment. Means the first arc we will draw on the upper side by keeping the one point of your compass on point Q and the other one either side of that given segment. Now, without changing the distance, keep the same distance in your compass and put your compass point on point P and draw arc which will intersect the previous arc. Now, draw another arc which already we have drawn. It will intersect this arc at two different points. Now we will join this point by raising the line like this. Label the 2 points A and B. Now we will verify that whether the given perpendicular bisector of the line segment is exactly or not. For that, take the compass, keep it exactly on the point O. If it shows the angle of 90 degree, it means we can say that the given perpendicular bisector of the line segment shows 90 degree of angle. Okay, so here angle AOQ, major angle AOQ is exactly of 90 degree. It means segment PO is equal to length of segment OQ. So in this way, student, you can draw perpendicular bisector of a line segment. Now student, we will see that the property of angle bisector of a triangle. So in this property, we have to bisect the angles of the given triangle. So let's see. First of all, we need to draw here one triangle. So as I have drawn here one triangle, label it triangle PQR. After drawing this triangle, student, we have to bisect its each angle, angle P, angle Q, angle R. As we know that in our previous construction, we studied already how to bisect the given angle. So we will apply that knowledge here in this property. Okay student, let's start. Take the compass. You need your compass to bisect each angle. So put the compass one end on point R. Draw arc which will cut the two segment at two different points. Segment RQ, segment RP. Now take the approximate distance in your compass. Put the one end of the compass on the previously drawn arc at one point and draw arc interior of the triangle in this way. Now put the other end of the compass on the other arc. So in this way, draw arc which will cut the previous arc. Now draw a ray which will pass from point Q and the intersection point of these two arcs. After that, take your compass, put the one end of the compass on point Q and draw a small arc which will cut segment QP and segment QR at two different points. Okay, so as we have drawn here this small arc, now take little bit approximate distance in your compass and put one end of the compass on one point and draw arc inside the triangle. Now put your compass one end on the other point, draw another arc which will exactly intersect each other at this point. Now we will raise the ray which will pass from point Q and this intersection point of the drawn arc. Now rest of the angle P, we have to bisect it as like a previous true angle. Okay, so let's start. Put your compass one end on point P, take the little bit smaller distance and draw a small arc as you can see here, which will cut the two segments at two different points. Now take little bit approximate distance in your compass, put the one end of the compass on this point and draw one arc. Now put the compass other end on the other point, draw one more arc. Here I got the intersection point of these two arcs which exactly cut each other at this point. Now we will draw a ray which will pass from point P through this two arc exactly. So we will get here the center point inside the triangle. This is our center point. Now this three bisector passes, as this is first one, this is second one and this is third one. These three bisector pass through the same point. We will label that point as point I. Okay, so they are the congruent. It means note that the point of congruence of angle bisector of a triangle is in the interior of the triangle. As we can see here, this is the interior point which we got from this three bisector of the angle. Okay, so now let's see here. So now after doing this construction, we will draw perpendiculars which will pass from point I, that is IB, IC and IA. If we will measure that three segments, they will exactly equal length. It means IA is equal to IB is equal to IC. So in this way, student, you can take any angle, acute angle or right angle or obtuse angle, and you can draw angle bisector of a given triangle. Okay, student? Now we will see the next property, that is the property of perpendicular bisector of the side of a triangle. So for this construction, student, use a ruler to draw an acute angle triangle and obtuse angle triangle. So as I have drawn here obtuse angle triangle, the name of this triangle is triangle XYZ. This is an obtuse angle triangle. Okay student. Now draw the perpendicular bisector of each side of the two triangles. So as we know that I have drawn here only one triangle. So we will draw the perpendicular bisector of all three sides of this given triangle. So in the next construction, you practice out the acute angle triangle. In that, you bisect all three sides of that given triangle. Okay. So now let's start. As already we have drawn this triangle. This is again I am telling you obtuse angle triangle. So in this triangle student, we have to bisect each side by doing the perpendicular bisector of the side of this given triangle. Okay, so let's start. One by one we will bisect each side. So here side YZ is given. So now take the distance in your compass more than half of this given segment. You can see. Now draw two arcs on the either side of this segment YZ. After drawing the arc, put your compass end on point Y and draw two arcs again, which will cut the previous two arcs like this. Now I got here two intersection point which will pass exactly from this two point. Now trace the line now we will bisect segment XY. Now we will bisect here segment XY. Again take little bit more than half of the distance in your compass. Draw two arcs on the either side of segment XY. Without changing the distance, keep the one end of the compass on point X. Draw again two arcs which will cut the previous arc at this given point. Again we got here two intersection point. Trace the line which will exactly pass from these two point. Now the third side XZ, we have to draw here perpendicular bisector of this third side. Put the compass end on point Z, just like we have already drawn the perpendicular bisector of segment YZ and segment XY. Like this only we will do. Take again more than half of the distance. As we can see that this length is little bit greater than this 2. Okay, now again draw two arcs on the either side of this triangle. Now put your compass one end on point X. Draw again two arcs which will cut the previous arc at two different points. Okay, now join these two intersection point by raising the line. Note that the perpendicular bisector of the sides are congruent. So here we got the point of intersection. We will give the name to that point as point C. It means we can say that the perpendicular bisector of the side of a triangle are congruent. The point of congruence is called the circumcenter and it is shown by letter C. So here the point is outside the triangle we can see. So in this way we can draw perpendicular bisector of a side of a triangle. So something more we will see here. We have studied the two properties of the triangle. The first one is the angle bisector of a given triangle and the second one is the property of perpendicular bisector of the side of a triangle. So now let's know more about it. You can see in this diagram, inside the point is given and we have labeled that point as point I. It means the angle bisector of a triangle are congruent. Their point of congruent, this is the point of congruent, is called the incenter. Incenter means inside the circle and is shown by the letter I. Now, next fact we will see here, that is the perpendicular bisector of the side of a triangle are congruent. The point of congruence is called the circumcenter and it is shown by the letter C. In this diagram we can see that this is the point of congruence and this point is called as the circumcenter. Okay student, so in this way we are seeing the two new type of construction. So now see you in the next video again with the new construction of the triangle. Okay student, bye.